Welcome to Chatting the Pictures. My name is Cara Finnegan, and I'm a writer, teacher, and historian of photography.
And I'm Michael Shaw. I'm a writer, a psychologist, and also publisher of Reading the Pictures.
The photos from the smoke that shrouded New York City were just the latest climate change wake-up call. As we study this image, however, we realize some images were more demoralizing than others.
This photo was taken by Clark Hodgin for The New Yorker. It shows three young people in Central Park as New York City suffers thick smoke and otherworldly air, the result of more than 160 fires in Quebec and more across Canada. This sickly, dangerous phenomenon has rarely been experienced on America's East Coast.
This photo to me initially really gives off a kind of 70s vibe, calling to mind images of cities like New York from the 70s, before the time of the Environmental Protection Agency. Even the children's longish hair and clothing, in a way, kind of calls back to the 70s as well. And the visual effect of the smoke gives the images a kind of washed out saturation that's also reminiscent of color photography of that period, too. I think that highlights the extent to which the man-made climate crisis is now occurring at such a massive scale that we're always behind the curve. The vertical composition is really telling here, isn't it? The way that the verticality with the tall buildings in the background and the tall rocks in the foreground really kind of creates a sense of claustrophobia. And you almost get a sense that in this canyons of the city, smoke is getting trapped there. And then the effect then of the smoke is sort of amplified so that the children in the foreground are not only kind of trapped within the rocks, trapped within the canyon of the city, but really trapped by all the smoke that's all around them.
Yeah, I like your read of the background to foreground also portends the disintegration of cities and life as we know it. And it's really interesting when you look at the gaze or track the gaze of the kid in the background, where you wonder, where is the vanishing point? Is it where those rocks come together in a V? Is it where the trees come together in a V? And that kind of disorientation only makes this more powerful.
Two of the kids are in masks. First thought is, yeah, they're used to masks, right? This is what their life has been like. We're all using masks for a whole lot of reasons, and it's convenient to have them around when smoke descends unexpectedly on your city. The kids are also really at rest. They're not running around. They're not playing, probably partly because the air quality doesn't really allow for that. But I'm also interested in the fact that their body language doesn't really suggest that they're very surprised by the situation they found themselves in. You know, these kids have been through so much in the last few years. You have to kind of wonder at this point, does anything faze them? The photo, in a way, sort of animates the idea of, the children are our future, right? Or what kind of world are we leaving our children if they have to live in this smoke-filled environment? But the kids themselves, it's not that they don't evince concern. They're just really even not noticing. It's just the way things are.
There's no connection with the photographer and the kid far left. Yeah, he's looking at his phone, but it also feels like he's just looking down, defeated. And then the kid in the front, that's really interesting too, because whereas you see this kind of prone body and also the same kind of dejected gaze, what's also curious is how the kid's right foot is kind of angled out, as if symbolizing a move somewhere, but there is no move somewhere if we just think about the overall meaning of the photo and the meaning of the situation.
One of the other things that emerged is a critique, I think, partly from people on the West Coast who have been dealing with wildfire and its attendant problems regularly for many, many years now. The argument was, well, the news doesn't pay attention unless it happens on the East Coast. And that's perhaps embodied most clearly in a photo that the New York Times ran that included a person wearing that iconic I Heart New York t-shirt with all of the evidence of the smoke behind them. Although West Coasters have, I think, been very helpful and have been sharing tips with others in the country about how to deal with these situations, a lot of them have also said, well, for better or for worse, welcome to the party.